It's time for editor's cut, and Alex could be an interesting one because the stock or the story firmly in focus today is Zee.
No doubt. In fact, that has to be the big focus, of course, from the corporate side. Culturally, religious significance, of course, the other big headline, we've all spoken about it over the course of Monday and heading into today as well. But incidentally, the man of the moment, if you can call him that, was at the inauguration of the Ram Mandir as well. Let's talk about Zee Entertainment, because really, I think you were talking about this on the trade setup and you said it's a slam dunk. But there are a few more questions that I think remain unanswered, and I think Sajeet is going to lay out those questions for us. The reason being that this entire deal, the people that, or the institutions that were more focused on its fructification were the institutions that were holding stake. And it's a considerable amount of Zee Entertainment that is held by institutions. So what is the context? What was the big problem that led to the deal supposedly being scuppered?
So put the context in place. 2 years ago, when the merger was announced, Zee was facing the biggest governance issue with respect to the group, SL Group defaulting on some of the loans. Many of the mutual funds had to take a hit because of that. And this deal with Sony came as a savior for the institutions, because they then thought that, you know, the merged entity with Sony being the majority owner would be a game changer, not only for the entertainment industry, but also from their holding point of view. The stock is now pre-merger price, and it's going to slip further because the industry dynamics have changed in the last 2 years. To set a context there, you know, you have a competitive industry, ad revenues are not growing, profitability and EBITDA margins for Zee has been falling in the last 2 years. All this is putting in a lot of stress for Zee and Zee's financials. In this context, the institutions play a bigger role now because 71% is held by them.
71%?
71% is held by them. So to break it up, 32% is held by mutual funds, and they've been backers of Puneet Goenka through the times when the SL Group was facing an issue with respect to debt and other restructuring which was happening. They had to sell off many of their assets to pay off the mutual funds. Then you have insurance companies which are having 10%, and then you have foreign financial institutions or foreign portfolio institutions which hold nearly 27 odd percent. So 71% odd is held by institutions, and they have a big say in how this is going to do. We've seen in the past that institutions can be active.
Yes.
And this time we're hearing the murmurs which we that there will be institutional activism that will come in asking for an EGM. So I don't know when it will come in, but there are murmurs. The law requires them to have at least minimum 10% of the equity pooling so that they can ask for an EGM. But that is going to be a big challenge going for Zee. Zee is also facing a big challenge with respect to Sony seeking $90 million in breakaway fees.
So that is exactly what we need to get to, because that is the legal aspect. Of course, there is going to be a challenge. They've stated it clearly, Tamanna. But that amount that is being claimed by Sony is going to be a big problem that Sony will have to, that Zee will have to face now.
So the sense I'm getting, of course, Zee has very clearly said that they're going to go the legal route. There's no mystery there. It's in their press release that they will go the legal route. Look at Puneet Goenka's tweet from Ayodhya, where he says that this is a blessing from Lord Ram. So this story is going to evolve in very interesting ways. The first logical step is that they go to an arbitration tribunal, because now the fight will be about who pulled the plug. Sony did pull the plug. There's no confusion about that. Why did they, and were they justified in doing that? So Zee will not only challenge, in all likelihood, the $90 million. Don't be surprised if they have a counterclaim. And that's what we're learning. It's very likely that they will have a strong counterclaim coming in, because they will say that we shut our international verticals to adhere to this deal. We took on expenses to adhere to this deal. And what about that? Because you were the one who pulled the plug. The sense I'm getting is that the core legal argument from Zee is going to be that the CPs, that's the conditions precedent that you need to fulfill a deal, that we did our part. Some of those had to be operationalized once the merger date was finalized. That never happened. Some of them were joint conditions we had to fulfill, which we could never do. So it's not on us. it's on you. This is going to be a long, protracted fight. We haven't seen the end of it yet.
So, Puneet Goenka, just before I come to you, Niraj, on the brokerages and what is likely to happen on the stock price, but Puneet Goenka's role, even though a lot of people have spoken about it, that was in the original deal, right, Sajeet?
It is part of the original deal because, he has built a business in Zee Entertainment, and that's the reason why, when the promoters went through the worst in terms of SL loans and defaults, the mutual funds were backing Puneet Goenka in Zee. And that's the only reason why many of the mutual funds stood their ground, and they invested in Zee Entertainment because there was a Puneet Goenka there. Now things have taken a turn with respect to governance. There's in the last 2.5 years, there are a lot of related party issues which have come out. There have been some provisioning which has been done, cleaning up the balance sheet which is done, and still it's open there. We don't know what is the extent. Now, if you look at, I was just looking at the
investigation, you mean?
Investigation is still on,
yeah.
And SEBI has to come out with a final report. But if you look at from a financial point of view, Zee at the end of September had some 260 odd crores in cash. Their trade receivables have gone up to 2,100 crores from nearly 1,500 odd crores at the end of March. So there is an issue with respect to cash coming back, and we don't know how much of that is coming from related parties or distribution companies which are related to the group, which is there. So it is going to be a mess for Zee in the short term. There has to be some cleaning up which has to be done. Conditions precedent is just a legal thing, but if you're dealing with a US and a Japanese company, they will go to the dots. They will sign off only when the dots and the T's are slashed.
Yeah, but Sajeet, the question is that all of this is in the public domain. Sony did an extensive due diligence. The big mystery of the coming off of this deal is that there was nothing that was unknown. If you and I and everyone know that there were concerns in the books or quote-unquote skeletons in the closet, it was not a secret from Sony.
True, but
so the question today is what was going on for so long, and what actually led them to pull the plug eventually?
True, the governance issue is not an old one.
Exactly.
It's not a new one, it's an old one which is there. But there has been promises made, saying that books will be cleaned up, subsidiaries will be shut which are non-compliant with US norms, or investments made in certain companies will be hived off, which will not be part of the merger. Sure. None of those has happened in the last 2 years, nor we have heard about it from the Zee management in the last 2 years when they have spoken to the analysts.
Got it. I want to talk about the brokerages because a lot of them have come out, Niraj, and put out a sell recommendation. Chances are with the kind of sellers that will come into the fray today, and there are unlikely to be buyers at this price at 230 rupees per share, the stock price is going to go down through the floor.
Yeah, so I'll just take 60 seconds because we are almost at the end also. But suffice to say, you don't need brokerages to tell you that the stock will go down. So it will go down. It will probably stay down. Very unlikely that there will be buying positions. More importantly, what happens next, aside of the fact that there is a protracted legal battle, is it a cheap media asset? Yes, but is there intensifying competition? Most certainly. Sajeet would be best placed to talk about this. We don't have time, I know, and maybe a bit later on in the show. But remember that there is a potential mega deal in the offing, in the competition ranks as well. And does that bring to risk, as per a City note, the sub-licensing of cricketing rights that Zee and Disney have as well? Because supposedly in one of the notices, Zee had missed one payment as well. Yeah. So are there issues out there too? So while it's a cheap media asset, it is one laden with problems. Would people want to look at others which are a bit more stable? I think I rest my case there. There won't be buyers, but even if it's cheap, maybe people want to look at stability as opposed to just something which there is a protracted
I have a bigger fear here.
We don't have time, but yeah,
I have a bigger fear here. The problem is that there's very little of coverage to the media and entertainment space by institutions, and Zee is the only one which is covered by many institutions. If the governance issues and these are not sorted in the near term, we won't have any coverage.
Okay, so it's incumbent on you, Sajeet, and us to bring some coverage and some analysis.
Exactly.
So we will try and get you that. But and that brings us to the end of this particular edition of the Editor's Cut. Maybe we don't have all of the answers, but some of the answers hopefully you've gotten this morning.